In this interview, we're speaking with Guilherme, a longtime Houdini artist and founder of Hardcore FX, about his journey building a studio and scaling complex VFX projects.
Hi, my name is Guilherme. I've been using Houdini for the past 15 years, and for the past 7, I've been working in my own studio, Hardcore FX. And in this video, I want to talk about our experience with the GridMarkets render farm.
Why use a render farm at all?
Why someone would need a render farm service in the first place? And the answer is rather simple, because even with those cool XPU renders that we have nowadays, that even with a small render farm can deliver a lot of shots. But when we're talking about 50, 100 shots, or we are trying to deliver several projects at once, it's hard to manage all those projects in such a way that they won't overlap and they won't overload your render farm. So at some point, it is not just important, but it is essential to be able to count on an external service to handle you more compute power, so you can deliver all your projects in time.
What's the real challenge with using a render farm?
My experience, being able to count on that extra compute power and being able to deliver those frames without a hustle are two totally different things. Usually we would have to keep an artist babysitting the render farm, so he would be able to submit one frame, check it, then submit the whole sequence, and keep checking if any frame would hang in the render farm, or if you would have bad frames, so you need to submit that again. So that's something that's, you are not just spending money in the render farm itself, but you're spending money with the artist that will need to keep using his time to babysit the render farm as well. So you are spending kind of double.
What was the turning point that made handling big projects easier for your studio?
That was when GridMarkets came to change the game. And I must be honest here, usually I would be very worried if we had projects that needed a huge number of sequences to be rendered and delivered. And usually I'll try to avoid those kind of projects because, again, of our past experience with other render farms. And GridMarkets has always been very helpful, especially with their plugins for Houdini. But I think their past plugin, as the same as all other render farms, they were more suited for single artists like freelancers. But when you need to deliver a huge number of shots, that's kind of a problem, because you would need to have like a huge Houdini file with all the shots in the same file, and that's a mess. Or you'd need to have different files for those shots, and that takes a lot of time to submit. So you will be trying to find the best way, and none of the ways were very good without consuming you a lot of time. And for several years now, Pixar has been developing the USD technology, the USD framework. And luckily, SideFX embraced it from the beginning. And for us, that started to change a lot our pipeline, because that technology started to bring more closely the pipelines for big studios and for small studios. And that was when GridMarkets started to develop their own plugin to be used with USD. And for us, that was the time everything changed like dramatically.
How much did the new workflow speed things up for your studio?
For submitting things like 10 shots, it would in the past take us maybe 2 to 3 hours. And now we would submit the same 10 shots in maybe 15 minutes or less, even with several layers in the same in each shot. So in the end, we started to get really confident in the technology in such a way that the rendering part of projects wasn't a problem anymore.
How did this free up you to focus on larger projects?
So when we started to bidding for bigger projects, we focused solely in the simulation or in general the animation and in the previous part before rendering. So rendering was not even a thing to consider in the difficulty of delivering that kind of project for us.
Can you give a concrete example to show the scale of the work?
Last year in 2025, we had to deliver three 30-second sequence, full CGI, some of them with simulation as well. And each shot had maybe 2 to 3 layers. So you're talking about 15 shots per sequence. So we're something around 50 different shots times 3 layers per shot. So we're talking about 150 different jobs in the farm, not at once, but we delivered those sequence in the range of 2 to 3 weeks. So, and of course, a lot of shots were rendered 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, depending on the shot. And we were able to focus on the animation, the simulation, the look dev parts, instead of focus on delivering the frames, because again, submitting and downloading those frames from the farm was something very simple and something that wouldn't take much of our time.
Rendering finished, was it all easy from there?
Strangely enough for us, the real challenge was how to deliver 50 to 100 gigabytes of data daily, not rendering. So, well, we found out a way to deliver that amount of data to the clients without having hiccups.
How has GridMarkets changed things for you, your studio, and your team?
We are not worried about rendering huge projects anymore. And I can't thank the GridMarkets teams enough, because they have been hearing us from the beginning, and I see that in their tools, because I see the features, a lot of things that I've asked him, and I see that in their support, because they changed a lot of things because of us, because of me at least, I can say that. And because of them, I don't have the fear of grow my business anymore. I don't have the fear of rendering and delivering big projects anymore. So I'm confident that I can grow my business, I can grow my studio, I can hire more people, because I don't need to afford a huge render farm to deliver more and more.
Thanks, Guilherme. It's been really inspiring hearing your story and how you run your studio.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, the whole team for me, because you are the ones that are making this possible. You are the ones that are making my dream possible.